So I think my next move, since this chip right here, the multimeter, didn't read it correctly, and I made a little schematic of the RAM chip here, and I was actually on, so the actual pin 1 is going this direction, so here, and so my CAS line, my column address strobe line, is right here, and that was the one that was making a weird noise, or actually it wasn't making any noise really. It wasn't fluctuating like it was on the other chips. So I'm gonna guess that could be a problem. Now I don't have any 4116 RAM. I have the 4164. Now we can mod this by bending up the back pins here and then removing pin 1, and that would be a 4116 at that point. Now, I think what I'm going to do is kind of see if I could piggyback this. And see if that makes any difference on it. So I need to bend up pin 1 and actually clip that one off, but I'm not going to do that for now. Bend that one up, and then my ground should come up, and it should come over and solder to this side. So I'm actually going to bend that up, and I don't actually, now that I think about it, if I want to piggyback these, I don't really need to bend them out a whole lot. I can just keep them out a little bit, just so they're not touching. And then I'm going to solder a wire from here to here, and then just try it. I'm going to try to piggyback it at that point and just see if I have any luck at all. Piggybacking sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't, but I need to find a little wire to actually put in there. Actually, I think I may have some wire here. And really, it doesn't matter what I pick. Just need to find something to actually tie those two together. Of course, I think no matter what, I think I'm going to have to take that RAM chip out because I don't think that RAM chip is working correctly, best I can tell. Tie that to that. I'm going to pull my little breadboard out here and actually just put that in so it's nice and stable. I'm just going to go right in there and there. It's not going to look great, but just do it real quick. See if I can piggyback it. Okay, so that's on that side, and then over here, just gonna tie this one on. Just like that. Now, the trick will be to try to get that so we can actually get it touching this chip here. That's kind of a little bit of a trick. It's kind of have to angle it in here, piggyback it on. It's got to really be tight on there is the challenge. Make sure those two aren't touching. It's kind of on there, but it's pretty corroded, so don't know if it's actually going to work. We're going to give it a shot. Let's see if that clears up the signal at all. Oh, it definitely changed the signal. Actually pull this up. So it didn't quite work doing the piggybacking. It changed the background, but I still think this chip here is a problem. I honestly do. And I'm gonna just go ahead and pull that chip out. Let's see if we can actually get that desoldered. So right here is that chip. Looking at it, it looks pretty bad, but I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and desolder it. So I'm first gonna add some fresh solder to it. Make it a little bit easier to desolder. I'm not too worried about it looking really nice the way I'm soldering. I'm just kind of adding some fresh solder to it. And I think I'm going to add some flux to it. Make it so it's a little bit easier. Still don't like this board just looks really just in bad shape. I got way too much solder on here. So I'm going to go ahead and solder this in, just to kind of get it nice and loose. Like I said, I'm not trying to be real precise here. I'm just trying to get some on. Now, you have to be careful not to plop solder all over the place and get it somewhere else and make it short. It's just going to cause a lot of problems. So I have to kind of look around. I can see like right here. Get my brush out. Brush away some of the loose solder that I kind of flipped around. And if I look at this board, it kind of looks like quite a bit. The traces aren't really soldered. Solder doesn't look very good on them, on the via. So let me see here. And going to be challenging. The way they did this. These pins. Bent these pins. It's going to be challenging. Get these. It's not going to be fun. This is not really going well. Trying to desolder this. Yeah, this is going to be challenging. I don't really know if I'm going to probably try to see if I can use a little soldering grade on it now. See if I have any luck on it. Kind of worried about destroying some of these vias. I don't know about this. Some of these pins are going to come out. I have to add some more solder to this. Some of them are really coming out. They're like all bent over. Oh, which is great. It means it's just more difficult to get them out. Some of these here. I don't know what's better, using soldering on this or just trying to use the braid. It's the way these pins are bent. It's kind of being a little challenging. Yeah, that definitely doesn't look good. I kind of hate to have to cut this out. I just don't know. It's difficult to get this out. This is not looking good as far as trying to get this out. And I'm starting to think cutting that chip out would be the way to go. And then pulling the pins out. Really don't want to do that, but I'm kind of thinking that's probably going to be the best way to do it, so I don't end up damaging the board. I am unsure at this point. How to best approach this. The pins are just kind of bent over, and that makes it very difficult to get this out. So yeah, I think I almost think I don't really have a choice but to cut this chip out and pull it out by its legs. I'm kind of confident this chip is bad though. Really am. Okay, so I have to resort to actually cutting this chip out because the legs under here are all kind of bent out, actually in, and it's a real pain to try to get all the solder out. And I'm afraid to do more damage to the board. So I'm going to come in and try to clip each one of these pins out, and then come in afterwards, and then go ahead and, you know, pull the chip out and pull the little legs out afterwards. And this is definitely not the way I like doing things, but it may be the the least destructive to the board doing it this way. And the unfortunate thing is, if this chip isn't actually bad, well, it's pretty much going to be difficult to put new legs on it. Okay, so getting close to getting this side done. Didn't want to do that either, but let me see. Yep, have that. And this one last one on this side. Can't quite tell if that pin is actually snipped or not. Just bent in. I think it's still attached. I think that one is done. That one. That one. Okay, that one's lifted. Trying to see if I did any damage to the board, which I may have. I'm going to kind of lift this up some. Try to get it so it's easy to get the other side out. Turn it around. See if I can now clip on this side. Okay, so I have that up. Obviously that chip is pretty much a goner, which would be really a shame if this chip is actually not bad. You know, I kind of destroyed it. I was hoping to be able to salvage it just in case it is any good. And now I can kind of see underneath the board. And look and see what's going on underneath here. Some of these I should just be able to pull out without too much trouble. And then it's just going to be a matter of trying to get them all out and cleaned up. Okay, so now I'm ready for the chip to go in, but unfortunately I messed up a couple of the pads. The first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to actually test one of these RAM chips here. This is a 4164 RAM chip, so I have to actually modify it by bending up pin 8 and connecting it to pin 9 and then removing pin 1. So first I'm going to check. That one comes out fine. And so how I'm going to do this, so it's kind of mangled a little bit now, and that's kind of my fault. It was quite difficult to get it in, to actually get this removed, I should say, this chip. And unfortunately, I had to cut that chip down to almost nothing to get it out, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use these pins here, and then that way I can see the traces inside, because there's a couple traces that are not connected. Like this one goes in between and that one's not connected. And I also think this pin right here, that one right there could have a problem as well. So I'm going to go ahead and fit these here. And I'm going to clip it off on the side. And then I'm going to take the other side and do the same thing. Okay, so that is like that right there. And then what I can do is fit it in here. So I can actually test to see if I can fit it in there. And it's probably going to take me a couple tries to actually get that in there properly. And then once I have it completely in there, I'm going to solder down each side. And then at that point, I'm going to go ahead and pull out the chip so I don't overheat it. And then I'll look for some traces that are damaged and fix those up. I think I'm going to add a little bit of flux here. Maybe keep this nice and smooth. Just like that. A little too much, but that's okay. Come back to it. Okay, so that should be good enough to pull the chip out now. I have 4 sides down. I'm going to go ahead and pull that chip out very carefully so I don't end up damaging one of these capacitors. Or one of the traces underneath. hook itself in there. Okay, there we go. And then I can go ahead and look at the connections here. So that trace there goes to this one. So I may have to come back and run a botch wire between these two. Okay, actually finish soldering this side in, and we're gonna have to do a couple little tricks to this as well. Some of the legs are off, like this one, they don't look like they're connected anywhere, but oh, the one looks like it may have a little bit of pad on it. I'm gonna have to see what we got. So go ahead and use some flux here. Okay. I think it should be okay. Alright, so that's down. Now let me see if any of these are missing their connection. I think this one runs up to here. That's good. Okay, I think we're okay on that side. Now this side is the problem. First off, this needs to go, this pin needs to go to this one. Or maybe it goes, let's see, in between, maybe it goes over here. Okay, so that one's good. This one is coming through, I think it should go here, and it isn't. So this is a problem. It needs to come from here to this pin right here. And so this connection is the problem. So I need to run a little wire on this one right here. And I'm going to do that on the bottom side. That one should be this right here. I want to test that, see if that's the right one. Yep, that's that one. So it should be here. And that should go to the third one there. Right over there. So this one here should go to this one here. Okay, so I'm going to run a little wire to do that. And might as well just take one of these wires here and solder it on and then cut it. Actually fit. So we trim this down a little bit. I'm going to tin this up. Tin this up a little more. And on, and then from here I'm going to just wrap it around. So I'm going to cut this there. Get this through. Okay, there we go. Tin this side. And then I'm gonna take that around here. And these are my tweezers. So I'm going to trim a little off of this. And take that and touch that down right there. Okay, just like that. And that box wire doesn't look like it's going to move anywhere, but let me double check the other side and make sure I hook that to the right place. So that should go from this here through there to this one. That's good. This one should connect to that one there. Okay. So I think I'm in good shape. I don't see any problems. Now what I have to do is I have to modify this chip because this is a 4164. So what I have to do is I have to take pin 8 and come up and connect it over to pin 9. And then at that point I need to trim off pin 1. So first I'm gonna do that a little bit better. And then pin 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 should be this bottom one. And let me see what I want to do to actually twist this up. I watched someone online do this, and they actually just twisted it all the way up. I don't know if I really want to do that though. Seems like a good way to break it off in the right up close to it, and that's going to cause a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and twist this up, and then what I'm going to do is run a little wire between the two. And I'm going to actually get out my little breadboard and put that down just so it's a little bit easier to manage. And I guess I'm gonna just take this wire here and I can trim it down. Just strip the other side. That. I'm going to go ahead and roll solder on this. And I think what I'll do is I'll put this, if I can get this inside of here, I may do that. If not, I think I'll just trim it down here. Bring it in like that. Don't think that's going anywhere. And pin 1, actually just for now, I'm going to move this out of the way. That up like that for now, and then let's see if I can actually put this chip in. So chip's going to go in, move this up a little more. See if there's actually room in here for this. Should fit there nicely like a glove. Since I kind of move that up now, it looks like this pin is still, could possibly be touching there, which isn't good. Okay, so that's not touching now. And the other side isn't touching. Just double checking. Okay, I think I'm good on that. So what I can try now is I can actually try it now and see if I have any difference. Quite a few different things going on, so quite a few things could be still wrong. So I'm gonna turn on everything. And ColecoVision, everything connected. Put my cardboard down. Anything shorting. Okay, let's see what happens now. And I can't believe it. It's working. Okay, I have it plugged into the right port now. Yeah, the one button isn't working, but that's easy. I can fix the controller. Yeah, the controller's not a problem. Now that I have it working, I want to actually just see now on that pin, which that third pin there, I found out on here, this is actually a Q, and it also means data out. So that makes perfect sense why this chip was having problems and the video wasn't displaying correctly, because with no output, those colors are going to be missing. So before we just, I think we had either a low or high signal on it, but there was no activity. Now I'm going to go on it now, and I can see it's making a lot more noise. It's low, but it's making a lot more noise. And I'm going to go through each one now. And the screen is still up with no problems. Yep, so that seemed to fix the issue. Looks perfectly fine now. So I'm going to turn it off and we are in good shape. So I think what I'll probably do is make a composite mod for this one. This is one I just picked up on Facebook Marketplace for like $25. Got the joystick, the power supply doesn't seem to be working correctly, but the case and everything looks good for it. So I think this is a great buy. And I'm going to use it as my second ColecoVision and be able to hook it up to like a modern TV with the composite mod.